Hi everyone, welcome back to DGMZ, Diwaan-e-Ghalib, Meri Zubani. To all our returning viewers, we are very happy you could join us again. And to the new viewers, we are delighted you discovered the podcast and decided to tune in for the first time. Now, if you were with me in the previous episode, you know that currently we are going through Ghazal 32 from Divan-e-Ghalib. We started this Ghazal last time. Today we are going to get into the second couplet of the Ghazal. As always, I'm going to read the couplet for you and then we will get into the keywords, key concepts and then finally the DGMZ impression of the couplet. So, allow me to read the second couplet from Ghazal 32. Tangii-e-Dil ka gila kya? Tangii-e-Dil ka gila kya? ये वो काफिर दिल है कि अगर तंग ना होता तो परेशान होता. So let's start with a quick approximate translation. तंगी-ए-दिल का गिला क्या, ये वो काफिर दिल है. What complaint can I have against the narrowness of my heart? This is that unfaithful, disloyal heart. Second line, कि अगर तंग ना होता तो परेशान होता, because had it not been narrow, it would have been anxious and perturbed. As always, the approximate translation probably does not make total sense, but hopefully by the time we are done with the impression, it will start making more sense. Let's start picking up the keywords. First word is Tangi. Now, this is not an uncommon word. We still use it in our common vocabulary. Tangi can be either a physical narrowness or shortness of space, confinement, or it can also refer to hardship, poverty, lack of resources, right? इस पर सुदर्शन फाकिर का ये शेर, तुझसे मिलकर हमें रोना था, बहुत रोना था, तंगी वक्त मुलाकात ने रोने ना दिया. So the approximate translation is that I had plans to cry with you, to meet with you and cry with you, but such was the narrowness, such was the confinement, such was the shortness of the meeting that it did not allow me the opportunity to do so. And then खुमार बाराबंकी का ये शेर, तेरे दर से उठे ही थे कि हमें तंगी कायनात याद आई. So the approximate translation is, I had just got up from your threshold, and in that same moment of getting up from your threshold to leave, I remembered the confinement, right? The confinement of this universe. There is nowhere to go if I was to leave your doorstep. So, like I said, Tangi can be used as a physical shortness of space, but it can also be used as a metaphorical lack of something. In the first couplet it was lack of time, in the second couplet it is lack of space in the universe, right? So that is Tangi. Let's move on to Gilaa, a very common word in Urdu poetry, right? It refers to any kind of complaint, any kind of lament, any kind of misgiving you might have against someone. इस पे साहिल लुधियानवी का ये शेर, तेरे मिलने की खुशी में कोई नगमा छेड़ दूं या तेरे दर्द जुदाई का गिला पेश करूं. So the approximate translation is, in the joy of meeting you, should I sing a song, or in the pain of parting from you, should I offer a complaint? And Ada Jafri का ये शेर, क्या राह बदलने का गिला हम सफरों से, जिस राह से चले तेरे दरोबाम ही आए. So the lovely couplet. So the approximate translation is, What complaint can I have with people who were destined to be my fellow travelers in this journey of life? Because even if they parted ways with me, such was my destiny tied to theirs that no matter what road, no matter what path I took, it would ultimately, eventually bring me back to their doorstep. So that takes care of Gilaa. Let's move on to Kafir. Again, a very common word used in Urdu poetry. It talks about somebody who is an infidel, somebody who is not pious. It can also be somebody who is unfaithful, disloyal. In Urdu poetry, the beloved is many times referred to as Kafir. इसमें शेख इब्राहिम ज़ौक़ का ये शेर, जाहिद शराब पीने से काफिर हुआ मैं क्यों, क्या 1.5 चुल्लू पानी में ईमान बह गया. Lovely couplet. The approximate translation is, O wise one, how have I transformed into an infidel after drinking wine? Are you telling me that in a fistful of water, the lifetime of faith was drowned and finished? आरज़ू लखनवी का ये शेर, जो दिल रखते हैं सीने में वो काफिर हो नहीं सकते, मोहब्बत दीन होती है, वफा ईमान होता है. Lovely couplet, one of our favorites here at DGMZ. So the approximate translation is, whoever has a heart in their chest, they can never be infidel, they can never be disloyal, they can never be unfaithful, because for such people, love is their wisdom, love is their belief, and loyalty is their faith, is their religion. So that takes care of Kafir. Moving on to Tang, another variation of Tangii, which we just covered, right? So Tang is also something which is confined, something which is tight, something which is narrow, something which is contracted, right? And then those are the physical meanings, literal meanings, but then metaphorically, Tang can be being distressed, being disturbed, being wanting of something, right? इस पे साहिल लुधियानवी का ये शेर, तंग आ चुके हैं कश्मकशे ज़िंदगी से हम, ठुकरा ना दे जहाँ को कहीं बेदिली से हम. So the approximate translation is, I am totally distressed. I am totally distressed by this back and forth of life. I am afraid that in this distress of mine, I might just kick this world away. I might just discard this world away. So that takes care of Tang. Moving on to our last word, Pareshaan. Now Pareshaan again is a very common word. We still use it in our common vocabulary. It stands for being agitated, being troubled, being perplexed, right? Not at rest, not at peace, right? That is what परेशान is. इस पे मुनव्वर राना का ये शेर, अब जुदाई के सफ़र को मेरे आसान करो, तुम मुझे ख्वाब में आकर ना परेशान करो. So the approximate translation is, now the time has come when you should make it easy for me to leave you. You should make my journey of leaving you behind easy. Therefore, I request you that stop coming in my dreams and troubling me. Cute couplet. And then शहरयार का ये शेर, सीने में जलन, आँखों में तूफान सा क्यों है, इस शहर में हर शख्स परेशान सा क्यों है. The approximate translation is, a burning fire in their chest and a tumultuous storm in their eyes. Why? Why in this city or in this town, I see every person agitated, perplexed, troubled, with a fire in their chest and a storm in their eyes. Alright, so that takes care of all our keywords. Let's start getting into our impression. First line, Tangii-e-Dil ka gila kya, ye woh kaafir-Dil hai. Why complain of the narrowness of my heart? After all, it is this disloyal, faithless heart. It is a disloyal, faithless heart. This particular couplet of Ghalib is a delight to behold in terms of both wordplay and the classic Ghalib multi-meaning crafting of a sher. Without wasting any time, Ghalib kickstarts the couplet with a multi-meaning word complex, Tangii-e-Dil, by extension, narrowness of the heart. This is a favorite and a frequently used word complex by Ghalib. And at DGMZ itself, we have covered it more than once in different ghazals. Ghalib uses Tangii-e-Dil both to illustrate physical narrowness and metaphorical narrowness in his poetry. So, एक literal physical meaning तंगी का और फिर एक बहुत जज्बाती metaphorical meaning तंगी का. In addition to using one or the other, Ghalib on many occasions uses Tangii-e-Dil both for physical and metaphorical narrowness simultaneously, in the same couplet, same line, same word complex. And when he does that, it indeed is a joy to behold. Today's couplet is one such instance. Ghalib in today's couplet does indeed use Tangii-e-Dil in such a way that it will make sense both from a physical and a metaphorical perspective. For now, we will park the two meanings because we will need the second line to be done to get these meanings. Let's keep continuing on the first line, the second portion, Gilaa kya. Tangii-e-Dil ka Gilaa kya. Gilaa kya as in, what complaint can I have? Ghalib uses these two words, Gilaa kya, to drive home an important point. And the point is how helpless the lover is in front of his own heart. Right? The helplessness of the lover in front of his own heart. How do you complain against the narrowness of your own heart? Tangii-e-Dil ka gila kya has a tone of acceptance of one's own failing. Ghalib, the lover, states that what complaint can I possibly make against my own heart? What use would it be? By extension, I can make no complaint about the narrowness of my own heart, because it would almost be like complaining to myself about myself. Moving on, the third and the last bit of the first line, Ye Woh Kaafir-Dil hai. Ghalib goes on to highlight yet another attribute of the heart here. So he has already highlighted Tangii-e-Dil, the narrowness of the heart. Now he is going to say Kaafir-Dil. He is going to describe Kaafir-Dil, attribute of the heart. By extension, the lover's heart is an infidel, disloyal, unfaithful, untrustworthy, faithless heart. In Urdu poetry, the lover addressing his own heart as kafir has a beautiful irony attached to it. And we can only enjoy it if we are aware of that one thing that many a times embodies a kafir in the lover's world, the beloved. Beloved is what comes to the mind the strongest with reference to Kafir. In fact, Ghalib himself has a wonderful शेर that captures this. मोहब्बत में नहीं है फ़र्क जीने और मरने का, उसी को देख कर जीते हैं जिस काफिर पे दम निकले. There is no difference between life and death if you are in love, because the very infidel, unfaithful, disloyal person you look at and live is the very same infidel, disloyal, unfaithful person that you would die for. You live for them and they are the one you would die for too. Beautiful couplet. The beloved, like we said, many a times embodies the attributes of a kafir for the lover, attributes of disloyalty, unfaithfulness, and untrustworthiness. This is a big wound that the lover bears throughout his life, wound caused by the kafir attributes of the beloved. But in today's couplet, Ghalib laments an even bigger, deeper wound, the kafir nature of the lover's own heart, betrayal by his own unfaithful heart. Now, this betrayal happens usually when the lover's heart falls for the beloved, chooses to go towards the beloved, chooses to belong to the beloved, chooses to beat only and only for the beloved. That's when the lover's heart betrays the lover and goes with someone else, chooses someone else. बयां एहसान उल्लाह खां का ये शेर, भलाई क्या दिले काफिर ने बुत में पाई है जहां में कोई इतना बुरा नहीं देखा. So the approximate translation is, I do not know what kind of goodness this infidel heart of mine has found in that idol, by extension the beloved, because in the whole wide world I have never seen anybody who is this bad. Again, by extension the beloved. So I don't know what kind of goodness this infidel heart has found in that beloved and has gone towards that beloved and has chosen the beloved. This betrayal by one's own heart adds to the lover's original pain and burden of having a kafir beloved. बेखुद दहलवी का ये शेर, दिल वो काफिर है कि मुझको ना दिया चैन कभी, बेवफा तू भी इसे लेके पशेमा होगा. Lovely couplet. So the approximate translation is, this heart of mine is that unfaithful, infidel, disloyal heart that never even once throughout the period it was with me did it ever give me peace, did it ever give me calmness, rest. So therefore, you unfaithful beloved, now that you have taken my heart from me, you will also regret having it. You will regret taking this heart from me, because this heart did not give me a moment of peace. So Ghalib in this first line elaborates how his own heart has been both physically and metaphorically very narrow, very tight-fisted with him. But then Ghalib also goes on to say that there is no use complaining against the narrowness or the tight-fisted nature of his heart. This heart is, of course, a very disloyal and unfaithful heart. Alright, so that takes care of the first line. Let's move into the second line. कि अगर तंग ना होता तो परेशान होता. If not narrow, it would have been restless. Now the second line is where the amazing wordplay of the couplet starts emerging in all its glory. Ghalib uses both Tang and Pareshaan of the second line to cleverly and masterfully further detail reasoning behind the two attributes of his heart that he covered in the first line, which was Tangii and Kafir. In the second line, Ghalib says that such is the disloyalty, such is the unfaithfulness of this heart, that it would, one way or the other, always keep me, the lover, in a constant state of pareshani, agitation, anxiousness. To be noted here, in addition to the frequently used meaning of pareshaan, which is restless and anxious, pareshaan also has a physical, literal meaning, which is scattered out, dispersed out, spread out. गालिब का एक बहुत प्यारा शेर, बुए गुल नालाए दिल दूधे चरागे महफिल, जो तेरी बज़्म से निकला सो परेशान निकला. Beautiful couplet. What it translates to is, be it the scent of the rose, be it the lament of a heart, or be it the smoke of the candle burning in your gathering, whatever left or escaped your gathering, escaped it in a very pareshaan state, in a very disordered, scattered, dispersed state. In this couplet, Ghalib uses pareshaan physically and metaphorically to describe both the physical action of scattering and dispersing of scent of rose, smoke of a candle, lover's lament, and in parallel metaphorically describes the emotional restless and anxious attribute in all these three things: scent of rose, smoke of candle, lover's lament. In today's couplet also, in the second line, Ghalib says that this heart of mine would either be Tang or either be Pareshaan. In summary, my heart will never be a source of peace and rest. It will never calm me. It will never be a positive thing for me. It will always be a burden, because whether it is Tang or whether it is Pareshaan, my state will be of perpetual anxiousness, restlessness, distress. So that takes care of the second line. Now, as always, let's take a few minutes to step back and enjoy the couplet in totality. This will also be our opportunity to enjoy the amazing wordplay Ghalib has weaved intricately into this couplet. Now, while we will summarize the couplet and enjoy the wordplay, we are going to keep this table on the screen to keep a track of both the physical and metaphorical meanings of the words Ghalib has used. So, now let's get into the wordplay. Let's play out the first scenario, where this couplet is taking all the physical and literal meanings of the words used in it. तंगी-ए-दिल का गिला क्या, ये वो काफिर दिल है कि अगर तंग ना होता तो परेशान होता. What complaint can I have against the tightness, narrowness and confined nature of my heart? This is a disloyal, unfaithful heart. Had it been not this narrow and tight, it would have been scattered, tossed up, disorderly and spread out in all directions. Very physical, right? If it had not been tight and narrow, it would have been expanded, spread out, scattered out. Let's play out the second scenario, where all the words in the sher are having a metaphorical, emotional, intangible meaning. तंगी-ए-दिल का गिला क्या, ये वो काफिर दिल है कि अगर तंग ना होता तो परेशान होता. What complaint can I have against the tight-fisted, stingy, miserly nature of this heart of mine? This is a disloyal, unfaithful heart. Had it not been constricted with distress, then it would have been scattered out in restlessness and anxiety. The wordplay in the couplet enhances the message of the couplet, which is focused on the finality of the destiny of lover's heart. Whether the heart constricts itself and becomes tight and confined, or whether the heart scatters and spreads out, for the lover, it will always result in distress, in anxiousness, in restlessness. Ghalib, in today's couplet, displays the lover's heart as a very non-generous, very unfaithful entity as far as the lover goes. Because no matter what shape, no matter what form, no matter what physical attribute, no matter what emotional attribute the heart takes, somehow in all its shapes and forms, the heart of the lover is not going to give any type of rest, any type of peace, any type of calm, any type of joy to the lover, which of course the lover yearns for, right? This is a lover who is going through unrequited love. So they yearn for this, but forget about the kafir beloved giving it to them. Their own heart also does not give this rest and peace to them. So that is the impression for Tangii-e-Dil का गिला क्या, ये वो काफिर दिल है कि अगर तंग ना होता तो परेशान होता. We hope you enjoyed the impression. Now, we wanted to end today's episode by a ghazal that we have chosen. The ghazal highlights many of the aspects from our couplet today, and hence we thought it would be a befitting end to today's episode. So, allow us to narrate to you सोज़े गम दे के मुझे उसने ये इरशाद किया by जोश मलिहा बादी. सोज़े गम दे के मुझे उसने ये इरशाद किया, जा तुझे कश्मकशे दहर से आज़ाद किया. वो करे भी तो किन अल्फाज में तेरा शिकवा, जिनको तेरी निगाह लुत्फ ने बर्बाद किया. दिल की चोटों ने कभी चैन से रहने ना दिया, जब चली सर्द हवा मैंने तुझे याद किया. ऐ मैं सौ जां से इस तर्ज़े तकालुम के निसार, फिर तो फरमाइए क्या आपने इरशाद किया. इसका रोना नहीं क्यों तुमने किया दिल बर्बाद, इसका गम है कि बहुत देर में बर्बाद किया. इतना मानूस हूँ फितरत से कली जब चटकी, झुक के मैंने ये कहा मुझसे कुछ इरशाद किया. मेरी हर सांस है इस बात की शाहिद ए मौत, मैंने हर लुत्फ के मौके पे तुझे याद किया. मुझको तो होश नहीं तुमको खबर हो शायद, लोग कहते हैं कि तुमने मुझे बर्बाद किया. कुछ नहीं इसके सिवा जोश हरीफों का कलाम, वस्ल ने शाद किया हिज्र ने नाशाद किया. सोज़े गम दे के मुझे उसने ये इरशाद किया, जा तुझे कश्मकशे दहर से आज़ाद किया. All right, that brings us to the end of today's episode. As always, we'll be very keen to hear feedback and comments. We are always very appreciative of our viewers who take the time and effort to interact with us, share their feedback with us. Now, for the new viewers, if this is your first time at DGMZ, we make a strong recommendation that you go through the episode titled Introduction to DGMZ, simply because it will give you a good insight into the motivation and inspiration behind this podcast. What are we trying to do here every weekend? For our regular viewers, whenever you have time, please surf the homepage of the channel. It has all playlists segregated by topic, segregated by ghazals. Surf through them and pick an episode that interests you. If you have not joined us on our Facebook page, we invite you to join us there. We post pretty regularly on the page the share of the day, the reels, the bites. So it should be an interesting experience for you if you join us there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close this episode by sending a lot of love and light to all you dear viewers, and thanks for watching.